I'm Nicholas Balsi here at the Republican National Convention with Congressman Louis Gohmert. Thank you for taking some time to speak with us.
Nicholas, thank you.
So I'm hearing that you had connected Senator Cruz and Donald Trump. How did this come about?
Trump was coming to speak to all of the Republican members of the House. We met at the Capitol Hill Club, 250 people in there jammed in. Trump is at the front, and Paul Ryan introduced him, gave him a lovely introduction, and he talked about unity. And after he talked about unity, then he opened up for questions. We had a microphone I was on the second row, about 5 rows back, so I got up and went back to the microphone. And as I stepped up, before I could even say anything, and even though some people in our party were very critical of me for going down and fussing at the Democrats, for dishonoring the dead in Orlando, for violating our House rules repeatedly, they had been upset with me. But the first thing out of Trump's mouth was, "You were great taking off those Democrats. That was terrific. I love the way you went." Anyway, I thought it was rather amusing because some people were mad at me, were 3 feet from him, and he's doing that. And it kind of took me aback. That's where he goes first. And I said, "Well, I was just doing my best Donald Trump impression." He said, "No, you were better than that. That was great." So anyway, I made a couple of points, and I said, "But look, you've been talking about unity, and we do need to unify. But I know things got nasty, but you and Ted, you worked together well before it got nasty. You seemed to be friends. You know, you really had a lot in common. You were working together before it all fell apart. And I know now, as they say, it's your convention. You're number one. He came in second. But I would just urge you to sit down and talk with Ted." And he said, "Well, I'm going, as soon as this meeting's over, I'm going straight over and talk to all the Republican senators." And I said, "No, I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about a special relationship between the guy that came in first and the guy that came in second. You know, between the two of you had most of the delegates." And he said, "Okay, I will." Unbeknownst to me, as soon as he said he would, and he made that commitment, Steve King immediately texted Ted's chief and said, "Louis just got Trump to commit to a one-on-one with Ted. You got to make sure you guys make yourself available and get that done today. Don't let Trump leave until, you know, you've got that. He's committed to do it." And to Trump's credit, that was 9:45, and by 12, he and Ted are sitting down, one-to-one. Reince Priebus was there, as I understand it, and Jeff Rowe was there. But I heard they had a good meeting, and Ted felt like it was a good meeting. I didn't ask Trump to invite him to speak. In fact, Trump had made clear, unless he endorses me, he's not speaking. I thought it was a reach-out moment that I didn't expect at all from Trump. Not only did he go have the meeting, but he invited Ted to speak, and he spoke last night.
And some sources are apparently saying to reporters that the draft of the speech that Senator Cruz was supposed to give was changed. He was going to do the endorsement, that he didn't do the endorsement. Do you know if that is true?
I don't know which is true, but I did see Trump earlier saying that he had said, "I saw a draft of the speech a couple hours before, and I didn't care, big deal," something like that. So I didn't get the impression he saw that it was going to be an endorsement. And, you know, I guess truthfully, I know how bad Trump's comments were about his wife, his father, you know, about him. But I still kind of hope, because the country's hanging in the balance. And if Hillary Clinton's elected, I think we can say goodbye to a good part of our First and Second Amendments. You lose First and Second Amendments, you're going to lose the rest of them. So, I mean, I really feel that the country's hanging in the balance. That's why I was willing to go anywhere in the country, because I know Ted knows the Constitution. He's a Christian brother, and I felt like he would be best. But at this point, we've got to come together. We cannot allow somebody that let people die at Benghazi, whether she was watching the drone feed, refusing to send help, or if she just went home and went to bed and didn't send help and let them die. Either way, that's a person who never, ever should be allowed to get near the White House again.
Can there be unity in the Republican Party with Senator Cruz as the runner-up not endorsing the nominee?
Well, you know, that's a really interesting question. The RNC kind of surprised me because I have been such an avid Cruz supporter. They asked me to speak to other delegations. They knew I had not endorsed Trump. So I spoke to Alabama, of course, to my Texas delegation. This morning I was speaking to the Virginia delegation. And I don't know, this was after the speech. This is a Virginia delegation. Ken Cuccinelli is part of it. And maybe it was a misimpression, but in a weird way, I'm getting the feeling that a lot of people are coming together despite the non-endorsement last night. I'm having a lot of Cruz supporters say, since Ted didn't give any kind of unifying coming together, at least against Hillary, even if he didn't mention Trump, that, gee, maybe we better do this on our own. And I'm getting the impression that the end result may well be a group coming together in the end. It could end up having that effect, even though Ted would not be the one leading it.